If you're looking for a detailed breakdown of Come On Eileen by the Dexys Midnight Runners, you've come to the right place. In this video, we're going to analyze the song's structure, instrumentation, and chord progressions to find out why it works so well. We'll also go through the song's hooks and break down the fantastic tempo change that occurs in the bridge. And stick around till the end for today's Song Challenge, a segment where I encourage you to find songs with a specific musical feature covered in today's video. Alright, let's get into it. Now there are several versions of this song. The version we'll be looking at here is the 1982 music video version. The structure of this song is quite standard for the most part. Broadly speaking, it's just your basic verse chorus, bridge chorus format. However, one thing stands out as quite different. It has two intros. Intro 1 and intro 2. Now sometimes, intros also function as hooks that recur throughout the song, but in this case, both these intros are true intros in the sense that they only occur once at the beginning of the song. Next, we have what I call the instrumental section. Come on, Eileen. We could think of this instrumental section as part of the verse, or kind of like a pre-verse, because as we'll see later, it shares the same chord progression and instrumentation as the verse. Next, we have the verse itself. Poor old Johnny Ray, sat us up on the radio, filled a million hearts in mono, our mothers cried. Now there is a subtle structural difference between the two verses that most casual listeners probably don't even notice. And that is that the second verse is 4 bars shorter than the first. Specifically, the lyrical lines, "Our mothers cried, sang along who'd blame them," have no equivalent in the second verse. It just skips over this part, creating a shorter verse. The shorter second verse is a common technique used in many songs, and here it achieves two things. First, it creates variation, which helps to keep the listener's attention. So when we listen to a repeated section in a song, if it is exactly the same as the first time we heard it, we're more likely to tune out. But if something different happens, it grabs our attention and pulls us back in, even if we don't consciously perceive what that difference is. The second thing shorter second verses achieve is a sense of momentum. We're getting through the second verse quicker, so it feels like we're moving faster, like we're going somewhere. Also note that right at the end of the verse, we have a single 2/4 bar, which slightly delays the arrival of the chorus and builds anticipation for its arrival. Then we have the chorus. Come on, Eileen, oh I swear, at this moment, you mean everything. While the first two choruses are the same length, the third chorus is extended. It occurs 3 times. However, the song begins to fade out halfway through the second chorus and completely fades out partway through the third chorus. Now, a standard chorus usually repeats the same lyrics each time around. But here, the second chorus lyrics are a variation on the first chorus lyrics. It begins the same way, but then introduces new lyrics. The third chorus then reverts to the lyrics from the first chorus. We also have a bridge section, which gives us a break from the verse and chorus sections by introducing new material. It gives us a chance to miss the chorus and makes that final chorus section more satisfying when it does arrive. Come on, Eileen, to the right. Come on, Eileen, to the right. Now you have grown, now you have shown. Oh, Eileen. So, the final thing I want to point out is this little vamp. It's like a connecting section that ties other sections together. It first occurs as a 1-bar bridge between intro 1 and intro 2. It then appears as a 2-bar bridge between the first chorus and the second instrumental section. for anyone who's interested, the full 4-minute 48 version of this song doubles the length of intro 2 and the first instrumental section, and also extends the second chorus. Additionally, after the song is completely faded out at around the 4-minute 19-second mark, we get an a cappella version of Believe Me If All Those Endearing Young Charms, the same Irish folk song featured in intro 1. The first thing you'll notice when looking at the instrumentation in this song is the use of several instruments that are commonly used in Irish folk music, specifically the fiddle, accordion, and banjo. The Irish folk music connection is established in intro 1, which features a solo fiddle playing the melody to Thomas Moore's Irish folk song, Believe Me If All Those Endearing Young Charms. I'll put a link to the original song in the description. The bass guitar and kick drum then enter for a 1-bar vamp on the tonic F, playing this rhythm. Intro 2 is where we are introduced to our core rhythm section: bass, drums, piano, and banjo. And you'll notice that these 4 instruments are in every section of the song from here on out. In this section, the rhythm section mainly continue with the same rhythm established in the vamp section. In the drums, the first 2 notes are played by the kick drum, and the third note is played by the snare, while the hi-hats play 8th notes. And the banjo strums the chords to the same rhythm. Meanwhile, the piano plays quarter notes. And over the top of this, we have the fiddle playing the melody. Intro 2 finishes with a descending piano glissando over the last 2 beats of the final bar, which brings us into the instrumental section. In the instrumental section, the energy really picks up. The drums switch from just playing the snare on the 2nd and 4th beats to playing the snare on every beat of the bar. The banjo shifts to a livelier 16th note rhythm, while the bass guitar mainly sticks to the established rhythm, but adds an extra note or 2 in the final beat of each bar as it shifts between the root notes of the changing chords. We then have a syncopated piano part which jumps back and forth between a G note and an A note on top of the chords. This infectious piano riff really takes the song to another level. I always have the urge to tap my foot or even dance along when I hear this part, especially when it's combined with the bass guitar part. The fiddle mirrors the A and G in the bouncy piano part with its slower A to G hook, which occurs 3 times before introducing variation the 4th time around. This hook acts as the call in a call and response. The banjo answers the first call with a brief lead line. The backing vocals respond to the second fiddle call with the line, "Come on, Eileen." Come on, Eileen. The instrumentation from the instrumental section continues into the verse. The fiddle continues with the same hooks, but we don't get as much call and response because the focus is now on the vocals. The main thing to note about this section is the backing vocals, which sing thirds above the lead vocal on some lines. Sat up on the radio, filled a million hearts in mono. Sang along, chord playing them, and we can sing just like our Father. And at other times, fill the gaps between the lead vocal, emphasizing the lead singer's message. You've grown up so close, so grown up. When we get to the turalura section, the fiddle takes over the harmonizing role, playing thirds above the lead vocal. Finally, we have the brass come in for the last 4 beats of the verse to bring us into the chorus. Also note the bass notes in the piano and bass guitar shift down an octave here, which creates tension, which is resolved when we arrive in the chorus. The drums in the chorus play a 4 on the floor beat, so the kick on every beat, the snare on the 2nd and 4th beats, and 8th notes in the hi-hats. While the banjo strums 8th note chords. And the piano part is more rhythmically straightforward here than in the verse. The bass plays a groovy riff based around the 1st, 5th and 6th degrees of the chords it plays over in the first 2 bars, the 1st, 5th and 7th of E minor in the 3rd bar, and includes some nice chromatic lines in the final bar. As for the melody, it is based on a 3-note recurring motif that varies the top note each time it occurs to match the chord it is being played over. The first 2 times this motif occurs, it appears in the vocals. However, it is singled out and highlighted by the brass and fiddle, where it occurs 3 times before we get variation with a G note falling to an E. Also note that the brass is the key instrumental element that differentiates the chorus from the other sections. The chorus backing vocals are gang vocals, and it sounds kind of like a rowdy group of men singing along at the pub. Sometimes they sing the same words as the lead singer, and other times they take center stage when the lead singer drops out. Come on, Eileen, oh I swear what he means at this moment. You mean everything. You in that dress, my thoughts are confessed, were done dirty. Oh, come on, Eileen. Interestingly, the backing vocalists also use the pronouns he and him to refer to the lead vocalist. This gives us the sense of a gang standing beside their leader, helping him to seduce Eileen. This idea of an actual group or gang is also portrayed in the music video. The instrumentation increases in the 2nd and 3rd choruses with the addition of an accordion, which plays a counter melody against the main vocal melody. That pretty red dress, Eileen, I confess. Oh, come on, let's. Oh, come on, Eileen. And in the final chorus section, we get a more rhythmic piano part, which bounces back and forth between an A and B note on top of each chord. Listen to the difference to the previous chorus's piano part. Harmonically, it's quite similar to what the piano is doing in the verses, keeping in mind that the two sections are in different keys and use different rhythms. Here are the two of them side by side. And last but not least, we have the bridge. The thing that makes this section really unique is its changing tempo. It begins with the tempo pulled right down to around 55 beats per minute, so half the speed of the second chorus. It then gradually increases in speed over the course of 12 bars until it reaches roughly 123 beats per minute at the onset of the third chorus.
Come on, Eileen, to the right. Come on, how you feel? Eileen, to the right.
Now let's have a look at how the drums fit into this tempo change. First, a quick explanation of half time and double time for those who are unfamiliar with the concepts. So we can think of a regular time beat as having eighth notes in the hi-hats, the kick on the first and third beats of the bar, and the snare on the second and fourth beats of the bar. Now, if we keep the eighth notes in the hi-hats, but have half as many kick and snare hits, we have a half-time beat. Conversely, if we keep the eighth notes in the hi-hats, but have twice as many kick and snare hits, we have a double time beat. And this double time beat is exactly what we have in the bridge. But because the bridge starts at 55 beats per minute, we have a very slow double time beat, which sounds quite similar to a regular time beat. Therefore, it follows on quite seamlessly from chorus 2's 4 on the floor beat, played at 110 beats per minute. By the time we reach the end of the bridge and get to 123 beats per minute, it's quite obvious we're dealing with a double time beat. Then, the drums simply switch back to regular time for the third chorus. But because the chorus drum beat is a 4 on the floor beat, the kick actually remains the same between the two beats. So it's really only the snare that changes. So once again, a very smooth transition. Gradual, noticeable tempo changes like this are not found in very many songs, so it's one of the elements that really makes this song stand out from other songs. A famous instrumental piece that reminds me of the bridge in this song is Zorba's Dance, from the 1964 film Zorba the Greek. Many versions of this piece have been recorded over the years, including an electronic version by LCD in the late 90s. I'll include a link to both in the description. Anyway, in addition to increasing the tempo, the bridge also increases the layers of instrumentation. It begins with the 4 core rhythm elements: drums, bass, piano, and banjo. The bass follows the hi-hats, playing eighth notes on the roots of the chords, while the piano and banjo follow the snare drum, playing staccato chords on the offbeats. On top of this, we have backing vocals singing,
"Come on, Eileen, to the right. Come on, Eileen, to the right. To the right.
Then the layers start building. In the second bar, a swung lead piano part comes in.
Hey, come on, Eileen, to the right. To the right.
Next, in bar 3, the lead vocal comes in, riffing on previous lyrical lines and adding some new ones.
Right. Now you have grown, now you have shown, oh, Eileen. Say.
In bar 5, a swung lead banjo part comes in, mirroring the swung lead piano part.
Come on, Eileen, these things they are really nice. Come on, how you feel?
Then finally, in bar 9, we get the fiddle coming in to harmonize with the lead vocal on the hook from the verses.
Come on, Eileen, to the right. Come on, Eileen, to the right. To the right.
These are the 4 chord progressions used in this song and the sections where they occur. We begin with intro 2, which is in the key of F major and uses chords 1, 4, and 5, along with a minor chord 4, which is a borrowed chord taken from the parallel minor key. Parallel keys are those which share the same tonic or first note. So the parallel key of F major is F minor, and you can see that that is where this minor 4 chord has been borrowed from. Okay, the instrumental and verse sections are in a different key to the intro, C major. So the last chord of intro 2, chord 5 in the key of F major, becomes chord 1 in our new key of C major. In addition to chord 1, the verse progression also uses chords 3, 4, and 5. Next, we have the chorus, where once again we change keys, this time moving up to D major. Our pivot chord is the final G major chord, which is both chord 5 of the C major key and chord 4 of the D major key. Now, the first time anyone hears this song, they will naturally expect a perfect cadence, chord 5 to chord 1, which would keep us in the key of C major for the chorus.
Eileen will hum this tune forever. Come on, Eileen, oh, I swear what he means in this moment.
That works. But instead, the song surprises us by giving us a plagal cadence, chord 4 to chord 1, which lands us in the key of D major.
Eileen will hum this tune forever. Come on, Eileen, oh, I swear what he means.
This key change makes it feel like the song is lifted up a level, and that's because D major is one tone or one step up from C major. So it adds a nice boost to the chorus and helps it stand out from the verse. Okay, apart from chord 1, the chorus also uses chords 2, 4, and 5. The bridge section remains in the key of D major and uses chords 1, 3, 4, and 5. Note that this is the exact same chord progression that the verses use, 1, 3, 4, 5. The only difference is the verse progression is in C major and the bridge progression is in D major. Now there's actually a little bit more going on with these piano chords played in the verses. Specifically, the piano plays all these chords while bouncing back and forth between a G and an A note. We can think of these two notes as an alternating 2-note pedal, which creates a 6th chord when played against chord 1, and some nice suspensions when played against chords 3, 4, and 5. Now, there is one more transitional point between sections that I want to cover, and that is the transition from the end of the first chorus into the second instrumental section. The vamp at the end of the chorus sits on an A major chord, which is chord 5 in the key of D major, and then jumps straight to chord 1 of C major via an ascending piano gliss. It's quite an abrupt change. I mean, there's no pivot chord, yet it works. In the context of C major, A major is a major 6th chord, which we can think of as a chromatic mediant, and ultimately, the reason this chord works so well next to C major is due to smooth voice leading. The two chords share the E note, and A major's C sharp and C major's C natural are a semitone apart. While I've already mentioned some of them, I want to finish by quickly outlining the main hooks in this song. We'll begin with perhaps the most obvious, the lyrical line, "Come on, Eileen." This line occurs a whopping 13 times across the song, and that's not including the bridge backing vocals. The other lyrical hook is "Tooraloo-raloo-raloo-rai-hey," which occurs in both of the verses and the bridge. Now, I don't know what these lyrics mean, but they seem to pop up a lot in songs by songwriters with connections to Ireland in the late 18th century. I'm thinking of songs like Courtin' in the Kitchen, Botany Bay, and Tooraloo Lura. That's an Irish lullaby. I'm guessing it comes from the traditional languages or dialects of Ireland, but I really don't know. If anyone has any information about the origins of Tooraloo type lyrics, please let me know in the comments. Also, the melody these lyrics are sung to is quite interesting because it simply climbs all the way up the scale before dropping back down to the 6th degree. So, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, la. Extremely simple, but effective. Next is the previously mentioned 3-note ascending motif in the chorus. It is most clearly heard in the brass and fiddle, but also occurs within the vocal melody. Then we have the bouncy, syncopated, alternating pedal notes, which dance on top of the piano chords in the verses. This G and A motif also seeps into other parts of the song as well. It can be found in the piano part of the final chorus, albeit in a different key and with a different rhythm. You'll also hear this A and G in the main fiddle hook in the verse.
Eileen,
And in the backing vocals.
you've grown up so grown up.
The 6th chord, created by the A note against the C major chord, also occurs in the bass part in the first 2 chords of the chorus. The final hook is perhaps less obvious than the others. It's the dun da dun dun da dun rhythm. It's highlighted in the Vamps and intro too, but also continues to be the backbone rhythm played by the drums and bass throughout the verses.
I've been down a sunken smoke dried face, so resigned to what the fate is. Not hers, no, not hers. We are far too young and clever.
Now, I encourage you to go to Dexys' official YouTube channel and listen to Come On Eileen again in light of everything we've covered in this video. Here are the sections again and the times they start to help you navigate the song more easily. And as always, if you can think of anything I've missed, or if you just have a different perspective on anything I've said, let me know in the comments. Okay, time for today's song challenge. Today, I have 3 challenges for you. The first challenge is to think of songs that feature gradual tempo changes. By noticeable, I mean the tempo change is used as an obvious effect, like in Come On Eileen or Zorba's Dance. Keeping with the theme of tempo, the second challenge is to find songs that feature a shift from regular time to either half time or double time. And the final challenge is to think of songs that include another song within them. For example, Come On Eileen begins with the melody of the Irish folk song Believe Me If All Those Endearing Young Charms, played on solo fiddle. In the extended version of Come On Eileen, the same Irish folk song is sung a cappella at the end of the song. I'm looking forward to seeing what you come up with. And like and subscribe if you got something out of this video.
Come on.